Emily, now that your father is gone, and I've already received the $200 million inheritance, I don't need you. You can leave. Her words hit me like a sudden chill. It was my mother, giving me the same harsh look she always had. Yes, it hurt, of course it did, but I kind of expected it. I took a deep breath, forced a polite smile, and said, "Okay, I'm leaving." The following days were very quiet. Then one day, the phone rang. It was her, the same woman who had told me I wasn't needed. "Emily, where's my share of the inheritance?" she demanded, her voice shaking with both panic and anger. She never expected that I had planned everything so carefully. My father had always been ahead of everyone. Before we move on, please like this video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Welcome to Revenge Scales, where justice always wins. I'm Emily, 27 years old, and until recently, I lived with my parents. On the outside, our family looked perfect. My father was my hero, a self-made businessman who built his company from nothing. He was honest and always kept his promises. Even when he was busy, he always made time for me. I remember him coming home tired but smiling and asking, "What are our plans today, kiddo?" He was my rock. My mother, however, was different. She was like a glamorous TV host, always well-dressed and going to fancy events, but she was distant. She often promised to spend time with me only to cancel at the last minute. I felt like a visitor in my own home. If my father was the support of our family, my mother was just a pretty face without real care. As I grew up, I admired my dad more and more. I dreamed of working with him and learning his skills. What I didn't know was that he was quietly preparing me for a bigger role, and an unexpected ending that no one saw coming. In my 20s, our simple talks turned into discussions about business. He taught me about leadership, responsibility, and strategy. My mom stayed the same, always around but not really present emotionally. The only time she seemed to care was during my second year of college. I sat with Dad and said, "I want to work with you after I graduate. I've been preparing for this." He looked proud, but before he could say more, my mother interrupted. "Emily, are you serious? Another one of your wild plans?" she said with a skeptical smile. "I'm serious. I want to build something like Dad did," I replied confidently. She sighed dramatically, as if we were in a soap opera. A woman should just find a good husband and let him take care of her. I realized then that arguing with her was useless. It was like trying to explain a smartphone to someone who only knew landlines. I stopped trying to change her mind and focused on my studies. Eventually, she agreed reluctantly. "If that's what you want, fine, just don't come crying later." I accepted that price for my independence. Right after graduation, I joined my father's company. As we worked together, we became even closer. What I didn't know was that he was racing against time. In just 6 months, he taught me everything, every strategy and every business detail. Then, one day, he collapsed at the office. His illness turned our lives upside down, and the next 5 years were long and exhausting. "Emily, how is the company doing without your father?" my mother asked, trying to sound concerned but clearly doubtful. "It's hard," I said confidently, "but Dad left me everything I need." Her expression, mixed with disbelief and irritation, told me I had made the right choice. "Just make sure you don't ruin the company," she warned, sounding like she was saying, "I told you so." It's typical for the next generation. During Dad's illness, I mostly worked on my own and clashed with my mother often. Even when he was very sick, Dad still came to the office sometimes. Every time he entered, it was clear he still cared deeply about the company, even though he knew he had to step back. "Emily, these employees and this company mean everything to me," he once told me with a quivering voice, "but I know I have to let them go." His words weighed on me. "I'm not sure I can be as strong as you, Dad," I admitted quietly, feeling a lump in my throat, "but I promise I'll do everything I can to protect what you built." That moment changed my life. He didn't just leave me a business, he left me a dream he built from nothing. After that, my days became a blur. I balanced managing the company with visiting him in the hospital. That busy routine became my strength. My mother did the bare minimum, bringing clean clothes or sighing as if every hospital visit was a chore. I often wondered if she ever felt any gratitude or real care. Seeing my father so weak after all his sacrifices broke my heart. Yet she only focused on small things while he gave everything. For a year, I pushed through long work hours, hospital visits, little sleep, and constant worry. Then one day, he passed away quietly in his sleep. In the chaos of planning the funeral, paying hospital bills, and dealing with legal matters, I barely had time to grieve. As usual, My mother expected me to handle everything. She had never left her comfort zone. The day after the funeral, just when I thought I could finally relax, she came to me. "Well, now that the funeral is over, I bet you're relieved," she said casually, as if mourning was just another task. I took a deep breath. I didn't expect kindness from her, after all. I knew who she was. "Please leave this house," she suddenly said. "I just inherited $200 million from your father. I don't need you anymore." Her words hurt me, not because I was surprised, but because no daughter should ever hear that from her own mother. Arguing with her was pointless, like trying to stop a cat from chasing birds. Did she really think that money could replace love? That wealth could wipe away all responsibility? With so many thoughts swirling in my mind, I decided it was time to go. By the next day, I had packed, sold my things, and arranged my affairs. My mother was shocked by how quickly I left. She didn't know I had been planning this for months. Most importantly, she thought she had inherited $200 million, but she was wrong. The truth was very different. Dad had given me full control of his estate. "Your mother doesn't understand the value of money," he had once told me. I remembered his words clearly. "I made you the sole heir and told you to only cover her basic expenses. If you give her everything at once, she'll waste it," he warned, half joking and half serious. What he left me wasn't just money. It was also a small SD card with a personal video message for my mother. I never imagined I'd have to use it, but recent events made that possibility real. Not long after, my phone rang again. "Come back home right now," my mother ordered, her voice tight with urgency and frustration. "I'm at work, Mom." "What's going on?" I asked, trying to stay calm. "I need to talk to you. It's important, hurry home," she insisted. I wasn't sure if I'd ever need the video, but I knew I had to be ready. When I got home, her accusations hit me all at once. "You took all of Dad's money, didn't you? I knew it the moment you left. Give it back now." Her greed filled the room. I stood silently for a few seconds, torn between arguing and letting the video speak for itself. "You're unbelievably selfish. You can't even be a proper daughter," she shouted, without saying another word. I handed her the SD card. Her face changed from anger to confusion. "What is this?" she asked, turning the card over in her hand. "You probably don't even know how to play it," I said, my disappointment clear. I then pulled out my laptop, inserted the card, and started the video. The screen lit up with Dad's image. My heart skipped a beat. I left the laptop on the table so she could watch in privacy. As I walked away, I wondered if his words would really reach her. She had never questioned him before, but now she sat quietly with tears in her eyes. I didn't ask why. I wasn't sure if I wanted to know. "Mom, are you okay?" I asked softly. She wiped her tears with shaking fingers. "Yes, I'm fine. I understand now. I'll follow what your father said, and from now on, everything is in your hands. Please go home for today. Call me when you can." I nodded. She needed time. As I drove back home, I couldn't stop thinking about how my father's words had reached her, even after he was gone. Days passed with no news from her. One afternoon during lunch, I decided to check on her. I knocked on the door, no answer. That evening, I returned and saw that the lights were on. I felt relieved. "Sorry for showing up without warning," I said as she opened the door. "I came by earlier, but no one was home. I got a bit worried. I was at my part-time job," she replied, acting as if nothing was wrong. "A part-time job?" I repeated, surprised. I always thought she hated working. Her sudden change left me speechless. "How did this happen? Did you watch the video?" she asked, sliding the SD card toward me. "The one meant just for you?" I clarified, feeling a knot in my stomach as I took the small card. "Go ahead," she said quietly, her face unreadable. I returned to my office feeling heavy, sitting in the chair that once belonged to my father. I took a deep breath and inserted the card into the computer. The screen came alive with his familiar, comforting image. "My dear," he began in the video, his voice calm, "if you're watching this, it means you couldn't reach Emily. First, thank you for helping me raise her. Without your help, I couldn't have managed everything." His words echoed in the room, carrying a heavy tone. "Then something changed everything. You took care of Emily even though she isn't your biological daughter, and for that, I'm very grateful." I was shocked. His words made me think. I'm not his daughter. His words hurt, but he continued without noticing my inner turmoil. "You've been there for me all these years. In doing so, you gave up many of your own dreams. I know you've come a long way without much support, and I'm partly to blame. I gave you a comfortable life, but now that I'm gone, I worry about you." I slowly closed the laptop, my mind filled with questions and mixed feelings. I couldn't sleep that night as I replayed his words. The next morning, I knew I needed answers. I went to her and said, "Mom, I watched Dad's video yesterday. Now I know the truth." My voice trembled as I faced a reality I never expected. "I raised you," she said, "because your father asked me to. That's the only reason." Her words were heavy, filled with years of secrets. The silence that followed was deep, but I needed to know everything. "What happened to my real mother?" I asked, determined to understand my life. She took a deep breath before answering. "You were born to my sister and your father. My sister died shortly after you were born. Your father was heartbroken, and I promised him I would raise you, so I became your mother." Her words were both comforting and confusing. Suddenly, parts of my childhood made sense: the distance, the way she cared, and her dreams. I remembered her working at a cafe, smiling as she served customers and talking about opening her own cafe one day. That was her dream, and she gave it up to raise me. Inspired by Dad's message, and now finally knowing the truth, she decided to chase her dream again. She got a part-time job and began planning a fresh start. One afternoon, during a quiet conversation, she said, "I should have started this years ago. Working is fun, and I feel more capable than I ever imagined." I looked at her, unsure what to say. "Was it my fault you never worked before?" I asked softly. "I'm sorry if it felt that way," she replied, shaking her head gently. "No, it was my choice. I was never naturally good with kids. I did my best, but I couldn't be the mother you truly needed." Her honesty surprised me. At last, we began speaking openly, no blame, just two people finally understanding each other after years of distance. In the days that followed, we kept talking. Slowly, we began to understand one another, not just as mother and daughter, but as two women reconnecting after a long time apart. One day, we even agreed to use part of Dad's money to help fund her cafe dream. Now that my mom had started working, she was more practical and thoughtful. When we talked about using some of Dad's money for the cafe, she hesitated, a clear change from the woman who once sent me away without a second thought. While I managed my own work, I supported her in opening the cafe. We started spending more time together, sharing responsibilities and simple moments. Our relationship grew, slowly becoming real and meaningful. Even though our relationship began in a difficult way, something special was forming. When it came to daily expenses, my mom insisted on paying with her own money and refused to use my father's inheritance. "Promise me you'll tell me if you ever struggle," I said. "Your father trusted me to take care of you," I added, genuinely worried. She smiled softly, showing the independence she had been building. "I'll be fine. Living alone isn't too expensive," she replied, but when we discussed the cafe's costs, she admitted she might need my help. After a pause, she finally said, "I'll rely on you then. I'm really excited about this, so let's do our best." Her determination and hope were clear. Even though she wasn't my biological mother, we grew closer. It felt like knowing the truth brought us together at just the right time. "Your cafe opens tomorrow," I said proudly. "Your dream is finally coming true." She looked up, clearly moved. "Seeing you help build this cafe reminds me of my younger dreams. I think that's why I'm here today. It's because of you and your father." "Thank you, Mom," I said gratefully. She held my hand and said firmly, "I'll always be your mother." In that moment, I felt our bond grow stronger. After Dad died, I chose to accept our situation and even considered moving closer to her again. Still, my mom worried, as usual. "You eat so badly when you're by yourself. I guess I'll have to start taking care of you again," she teased gently. I often thought about how surprised and proud Dad would be if he could see how close we've become. His home, his business, and the money he left are now safe in my hands. As our bond deepened, I made up my mind to honor the legacy he left us. Every day, we visited the graves of both my father and my biological mother, my mom's sister, to share our lives. Those quiet visits brought a sense of peace, as if we were showing them that our lives were finally on track. After all the legal processes, I was officially registered as my mother's daughter. It wasn't just paperwork, it confirmed a bond deeper than blood. Today, we are truly a family. This experience taught me an important lesson: always seek the truth before you react in anger. Sometimes, the truth brings unexpected lessons that help us grow. Thank you for watching. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please leave a comment below. If you enjoyed this story, like the video and subscribe for more. Your support means so much.